Oh my God, the Canadian is back.
He
That's me.
he defeated the Bears.
What happened last week?
We New Jersey'd up the place a bit for you.
We made some improvements.
Oh,
Improvements is an understatement. We
might
sanctified
be an
this
overstatement.
podcast.
I see. Yes, of course. So I was getting it uploaded, and I'm like, they've said the words New Jersey like at least 10 times in the first 10 minutes of this episode.
There's just so many shores here. There's so many beaches. So many exits.
An unhealthy amount of Jersey.
The correct amount of Jersey.
Is there such thing as an unhealthy amount of Jersey?
No.
I guess when you get heart disease from pork roll or Taylor ham sandwiches, whichever one you want to call it by, I'm going to cover it all for all of New Jersey. If you die of cholesterol-based incidences from like your Taylor ham and sandwiches and whatnot, then that's too much.
But isn't that kind of the purpose of pork roll?
I don't know. I think it's just a habit.
I feel like I've done good because my girlfriend's originally from South Carolina, and she lives in New Jersey now, and she has started to genuinely and unironically like pork roll. So we're making some improvements here.
We are. And we've already gotten to New Jersey things up again, and Yusuf looks very thrilled.
As the resident Canadian of the show, and also I don't eat pork. What the fuck is a pork roll?
I feel like that's a whole discussion to get into.
Can you put it into a cooler by chance?
I mean,
specifically branded by.
You know what Canadian bacon is, right? It's kind of like that. It's a disc of like ham, but like very specific.
Speaking of being specific, welcome to the Airborne Sealife podcast.
Welcome.
This is the New Jersey Pork Roll podcast now.
Welcome to the. I think we'll get sued for that somehow.
We probably will, but we'll die doing what we love, arguing.
Yeah. Welcome to Airborne Sealife, where we talk about metal. We talk about all things fun. I am, of course,
and processed meat products.
Oh.
Anyway. He's our host, Yusuf Rashid.
Flanked, as usual, by my lovely two Jerseyites. You know what? I'm not going to ask what you call yourself. Anyway.
I'm a human
Sloan.
washing machine brought to life by a child's wish, Brendan Sloan.
Of all the things, washing machine?
Look, I didn't ask questions.
This is a really boring child. You're not supposed to get excited about home appliances until at least your mid-20s.
Would you
like
to
washing
pick
machine
home
was like someone's dad? Like, that's all he had. Like, you hear the fighting upstairs, and washing machine is the least complicated thing in the house. And you just got a Frosty the Snowman situation.
Well, that's the what were we saying?
What do we got going on today, boys?
That's Brendan. That's Manuel. What? Okay, you. No, I don't.
All right, why don't we dive on into the actual content matter today, shall we?
I think it might be too late for that.
I think it might be too late for that. We're 3 minutes into recording, and somehow everything has gone off the rails and into like a really depressing mode. You know what else is depressing? Is Slayer is still doing things.
Well, hold on. I mean, I wouldn't say it's depressing. Everyone needs a job, right? But
I would. I mean, at this point, this feels like you go into Home Depot, and there's all these old guys who thought they could retire, but they couldn't, and they end up working at Home Depot for the rest of their lives. That's kind of what Slayer's starting to feel like these days.
Well, I think we're all talking about the lovely article that I found on Blabbermouth, and we really should get like a link or a picture of what it looks like.
I'll put that up.
Oh, we're
Use
definitely
it.
gonna put
Do
that
it.
up.
Ah,
Okay. Anyway.
So here's what we found. Slayer collaborates with Igloo on new cooler collection on International Day of Slayer. Now, I know what you're wondering. What could that possibly look like? And it kind of looks exactly what you think it looks like. It's whatever you probably have in your brain right now.
Well, Brendan died.
well, that was.
Oh, sorry, I had a huge sneeze, and I didn't think people wanted the blowback
Yeah,
audio
I don't know
for
if
that
y'all
one.
knew this. Brendan is actually like horribly allergic to Slayer. He just
not
never admitted it until this moment.
Oh, come on. I don't know if anyone's necessarily allergic to Slayer, but I think, you know, it's just like the little engine that probably could stop like 20 years ago. But we'll get into all of that.
Anyway.
So
it's a
all right,
cooler or
I
a
want the
lucky?
two of you.
What?
If you had never seen it before, when you hear Slayer cooler, what comes into your mind? What do you think it looks like?
Manuel,
I don't know if I can appropriately recreate the experience of never having seen this before. Like, I have seen this, and I cannot unsee it.
I should have shown it after the fact. That's my mistake, but do your best.
Slayer cool. I mean, I kind of want like a cooler that's shaped like one of Kerry King's guitars that you could murder someone with.
I would have accepted that. In fact, I will.
Because it would be ridiculous. But Yusuf, what do you have for?
I was fully, and I really do mean this, fully expecting a cooler, but not like a little box cooler, like a full size like tub cooler. That was, for some reason, had the decal of Kerry King's just head.
I would buy that.
Maybe it's
so the top. So the top of his head opens up, and you can pick out a beer. But for some reason, it's also branded by BC Rich.
I would buy that.
Maybe is the line above the wraparound shades, maybe, and then like it just unhinges the skull?
Yeah. Also,
it's like the face is stretched to fit the shape of a cooler. Yeah.
The face is stretched. There are little like pockets inside the big cooler, and one of them. Oh no! Sorry. The other thing I was thinking of. When you open it, there's like a sound effect, like in shows or cartoons, like you open something and there's like a heavenly sound, like a oh, right?
Yes.
You open it, and I'm gonna have to turn the gain on my mic down for this, but you open the cooler, and it's just Tom Araya going.
I would have accepted a galloping guitar riff with Tom Araya, to be honest.
I like Yusuf's version better.
I mean, either way, I think it's valid.
I think that would be cool.
Well, go on.
I would genuinely, if that, Brendan, is what you had posted in our group chat this morning, I would have gone out and bought it.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it's not any of those things, despite them being excellent ideas. And we'll probably put like an image clipped into it. But what it really is a jet black cooler or squid ink black, whatever one you want to go. And it would appear. I think that is the album cover to South of Heaven. Yep, there it is.
Oh.
It is in here. Yeah. Oh, there's a Raining Blood collection. It says. It basically has album art on the side of it with the Slayer iconic logo, and the best part of it, it has two Bluetooth speakers that are waterproof embedded into it, so you could play Slayer while you reach for what I assume is a natty ice.
Yeah.
Jeff Hanneman did not die for this.
I mean, it's one of the most singularly ostentatious, like, uncle coming to the cookout in camo camo cargo shorts,
cargo, yeah,
socks with sandals, Slayer t-shirt, just like you know the guy.
We
Like
we
you know
we
the guy.
uh we mentioned skullets before we started recording.
Yes, the skullet-clad uncle that like everyone rolls their eyes when he comes to the cookout. Like he's a little too into like flat Earth podcasts and stuff.
He probably like also likes Pantera.
Yeah, he still unironically loves Pantera.
No. Speaking of Slayer, though.
Speaking of Slayer, though,
since they're split and they do different things, well, they've been doing different things when they were still in Slayer. But shout out Dave Lombardo for doing some really cool stuff recently. Manuel got me into this crazy synthwave band called Gunship that Dave Lombardo is just on, which I was like,
Yeah.
excuse me? That's really
The
cool.
new record, it's got guest spots by Dave Lombardo, Lights, John Carpenter,
Like,
Power Glove. I don't know who has like top tier. And I put on the song with Dave Lombardo in the car because we're in California recording, and Yusuf is like, he's grooving, and then he looks at the screen on the console, and he's like, "Wait, does that say Dave Lombardo?" Yes, it
I thought
does
it
say
was a
Dave
different
Lombardo.
Dave Lombardo, but I'm like, there's only one Dave Lombardo, and I'm like,
oh,
oh,
hold on, I haven't been shown this particular
we'll show you
this
this
thing.
after. It's actually really cool.
Dude, you need to
Manuel.
listen to this
Yeah.
song. I assumed I'd shown it to you, or this album.
Also,
That's
Dave
fair.
Lombardo recorded drums for this one band, or I guess he's a solo artist from, I believe he's from Scotland. He's from somewhere in the UK. I'm sorry if I get it wrong. Called Empire State Bastard, and they opened for Sleep Token on this recent tour, so I saw them a few weeks ago.
Ooh.
And sadly, Dave Lombardo was not playing live with them. However, when I looked up like their stuff, and I'm like, oh, this sounds really, really good. And I was like, who recorded drums on this record? And they were like, oh, Dave Lombardo. And I'm like, what the fuck is he not doing right now? Like, damn.
I
good
mean,
for
at
him.
this point, it's like spoiler alert: Dave Lombardo does cool things with drums.
He
like,
does.
Yeah.
You just have to put the name Dave Lombardo in it, and you're automatically going to increase the quality of production on anything.
Right.
Absolutely.
It could be the sound of a blender chewing ice, and Dave Lombardo could do a drum score to it, and it'll go platinum.
Speaking of chewing ice, so Slayer coolers. How long do you think the ice can stay good for before it melts?
I don't know. I mean, how long does a normal igloo cooler do anything, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of wonder how much this cooler will cost you. Like,
Price is right.
Oh,
Brendan,
here
if you
it
can
is.
find the price, don't tell us. You
don't want to know the price. It's very dumb.
It's $66.66, isn't it?
That would have been almost something I'm more willing to pay, but it's not that. It's just a strangely. I would not pay this money for a cooler.
Like $200?
I'm gonna say
you're close.
I'm gonna say $245.
Wrong direction.
I'm gonna say $170.
You are the closest, without going over.
How much?
$180?
You have gone over.
175.
I don't.
You're getting warmer.
176.
Too high.
175.50.
Down.
174.
Yeah, and
174.99.
Oh, you're so close.
174.50.
Too small.
174.69.
I would have bought that, but the correct price of this cooler is $174.99.
I said 99.
I thought you said 69.
No, I said.
Oh, then I totally misheard you. You are the correct one. Congratulations, and I'm just incredibly frustrating.
That's $175.
$174.99. It holds up to 26 cans though, so that's kind of cool.
Interesting.
I mean, I feel like I could get a cooler. But I mean, the speakers have to be worth something. To be fair, I don't know how good they are.
I mean, there's that.
If they're waterproof speakers,
it says water resistant.
Any quality.
Oh, water resistant.
They're going to be worth something. But who knows? you know.
I don't know if I want to pay $170 for something I could peel off with my fingernail, though.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, but
Otherwise, you have a jet black cooler with stuff in it, with
don't you
like
want
speakers
to
in it.
play
Right.
Raining Blood like 40 times from a cooler?
I mean,
Just
that's what people are going to do.
Become one of those people who goes to the beach and starts subjecting the entire beach to their music decisions.
No, but here's what you do. So
But
you
it's
dress as one of
just
those.
raining blood over and over and over again.
Yes, but here's what you do. You dress in like all black. You like rock a skullet cap if you can. I'm sure those exist somewhere. It's 2024.
Yeah.
The internet's a thing. And you roll up to the beach with that cooler and start blasting Raining Blood, and everyone's like, "Oh, we gotta stay away from that guy." Like, "Oh, what the fuck?" But the only thing in that cooler is just water, just bottles of water.
No.
That's
It's
empty
not
as the
bottles of water.
It's just water.
It's just water.
According to the article too, there seems to be like a 6-keg or 6-can bandolier thing with Rain and Blood on it.
That makes sense. Yes,
A wearable 6-can single barrel sling cooler bag of some kind.
So I feel like we've gone off the rails at least 4 to 5 times in the span of.
No, we've been talking
minutes.
about Slayer
cooler
time.
warrants that response.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we're good.
Why don't we dive on into music today?
We're doing the new Leprous today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, new Leprous.
Yeah, we're doing the new Leprous.
New Leprous.
So,
may I start?
Yes.
Please, go right ahead.
What the fuck?
Right?
I heard the bass and I'm like, where is this going?
Brendan, had you ever heard Leprous before?
No, but then I looked up what we were looking for last night, and it was Atonement, right? That's specifically what we found. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh my god, so freaking
dude. So Leprous has gone through so many different iterations of their sound. Like, there's always been kind of that core of just weird experimentalism. But, they did Call and Tall Poppy Syndrome, where they were just super heavy, and then they started getting more experimental and rock, and then they got really electronic. I don't know what this is. It's back to heavy guitars, definitely. But it's gone in a weird direction, and I like it.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure in the beginning of the song. It's like, why were we reviewing this? This doesn't sound like our usual area. But then the heavier parts kicked in. I was like, oh, you know what? That's why. This makes way more sense.
Leprous used to be, where parts of Leprous back in the day used to be Ishan's live band.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I have never seen a tighter band live, ever. They are, to the 32nd note tight every time. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I can see exactly what you're talking about. It's just the unbelievably coordinated. First off, the music video. You know me, I always try to get into the music video, especially how it correlates into what they did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get into more of it after we go into a little bit of the music, but this has got to be one of the most well organized music videos I have ever seen in my life. But I'll get into more of that. Why don't we talk a little bit about what we like about the music? What did we not like? Let's dive into the actual song a bit first.
Yeah, the thing that really, really popped out or stood out to me in this one is that lead line that keeps recurring. That's just odd. It feels like it doesn't. I feel like it's gonna turn a lot of people off this song until they've listened to it a bunch of times, because it is a bold decision.
Are you talking about the lead line there?
Yeah, exactly.
My feeling towards that, and I've listened to it I think twice now, is it'll definitely turn people off. I agree with you there. The other thing too is it's so, how do I put this? 2010s dance pop?
Yeah.
But
that's
weird. In the weirdest way possible.
Yeah, but just a
It's
little
like,
bit wrong. And they
yeah.
committed, like this whole song, I feel like they committed to just doing something that sounds a little bit wrong. And it's kind of the Stravinsky thing of like, I am committing to this and it is going to sound right by the time I'm done with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has like a dance pop kind of dad, or maybe like a soul, but like it got something from its parents that was nice and heavy. Somewhere in the lineage, there's like a heavier influence that got in there somehow, and it shines through in a very subtle but appropriate way.
Yeah. I have had the pleasure of speaking with Einar Solberg, who writes much of their music, and I know
Oh,
he's a
nice.
huge fan of like Swedish pop
Hmm.
and also of doing things that are just a little bit strange. Um,
The second you said Swedish pop, I would believe everything you say about
Yeah,
that
everything we've
notion.
talked
yeah,
about now makes sense.
Oh yeah.
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 No, super cool dude. But I feel like a lot of Scandinavian metal steals more ideas from like Swedish and Norwegian pop music than anyone thinks they do.
Oh no, I
Because
believe that.
I've also spoken to Per Nilsson of Scar Symmetry, and he straight up admitted to stealing a riff from a Swedish pop song.
Stuff's catchy.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone would be
You know what?
surprised if
No.
you really think about it. I think certain people would probably be more in denial of that fact than they would be surprised because no one really wants to think about the idea that, like, there's pop in my metal. I don't like this. This is so
yes,
stupid.
well,
I am so pure and my music is pure and I'm so smart for listening to it.
I
there's
mean,
always one of those.
to be fair, like some of the best stuff out there right now is very like synth heavy and like,
Right, but a lot of these dudes have been doing this, were doing this long before that became
yeah.
like the popular thing. And even like a lot of the old guard of metal really hates that
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I think synth is slowly becoming something that is becoming acceptable to throw into it. Because I would argue that the previous generations would look at synth, unless you're like really looking for it, they don't really want it in their metal or any of their other music, I think.
Well, I've actually kind of noticed something. There's kind of there's a couple of different ways people approach metal, and I think metal and punk, at least for the longest time, and still to a degree, were kind of sister genres.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And it didn't occur to me because this isn't how I relate to metal. Um, but a lot of people relate to metal as angry, like it's not supposed to sound sophisticated to them,
No.
No.
which
It's
I'd
just a
never
whole
really thought of because I came to it listening to like Iron Maiden and Dream Theater, and right,
yeah.
that's a completely different way of thinking about it.
Well, I mean it's always like I don't know, I feel like we get not a good idea of what people think it is versus like what we listen to. I mean like, we have a bandmate that's like that or that's kind of
Yeah,
like
right, but
right?
I
And like
didn't realize why he was like that for the longest time
mm,
until we were talking, and I realized, wait a minute, he's like enjoying this in a completely different way than I'm enjoying it, and
exactly.
this is
Yeah.
where the lack of like we're starting from different places,
Yeah.
and then it made
See,
sense.
I'll even admit to that point that like even when I was like really getting into metal, like I start off as like the angry kid. I want to find the heaviest and angriest and darkest and most satany kind of metal that I could get because that was the point in my mind. I wanted to listen to it because it was like the naughty music, and for the longest time, it influenced my listening into things where like I thought I had to be very careful not to be like associated as some kind of like poser, where like I would listen to something, it's like, oh, nobody likes this band, I can't listen to this, and I would just keep like flicking through like playlists and on the radio to try to circumvent certain things to get around it, instead of just coming to the idea that, like, you know what, the whole point of like some of these songs is to just like have fun with it, just
Yeah.
listen to it for its own sake. Who cares what like some guy who like lives in his basement and shuns the sun really thinks about like what I'm listening to? And I think that's a permeating, pervasive thing that comes into certain people's, preferences with it. They're thinking with it.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like just I guess back to the song. I feel like we're not stalling,
Yes.
but it's a good discussion to have. There's a lot of things that just about the song as a whole, like even with the video, that I think metalheads will look at and be like,
Head scratch, head scratch, head scratch.
yeah.
So, like, I don't even know if I would call Leprous
I wouldn't even.
has done so many things that the metal is only part of their thing.
Right.
It's like, yeah, honestly, no, you know what it's like? It's like how in the early to mid 2010s there were gent bands. Like, they were bands who did gent, and that was it. And then a lot of those bands started moving in a direction where gent was part of their sound, but it wasn't just chugging on low notes all the time.
Yeah.
That's Leprous, but with just the entire concept of metal. They've done electronic stuff, they do prog rock, they do prog metal, they do, I don't even know what to call half of it. It's, I can't think of another band that sounds like this.
I think it's part of a phenomenon where like you find one song and it like really overlaps with your musical preferences, but then when you like look at the actual band, you find that like a lot of their back catalog is something so completely different than what you're looking for that you don't know really what to do with it. And I think this is kind of what Leprous has done here.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because I've never heard of them until the other day when we started going.
Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah, no, they're cool. It's so like the song's so like interesting to me because it's definitely a head scratcher at first because I'm like, what? Listen to it a few more times and you're like, okay, right. What I kind of love is I feel like this is the kind of vibe that Imagine Dragons thought they were going through. Do you know what I mean by that? Like,
Oh, I can't comment on that because certain people who are here love Imagine Dragons, and I'm not gonna go on record one way.
Yeah, we went to the same school as Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Someone asked Imagine Dragons what their favorite class was, and it was apparently atonal ear training.
Nerds.
That is a nerdy response.
It's a very nerdy response.
Hey, those guys know how to play. I mean, like them or not, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, but no, it like this song is very of the Imagine Dragons kind of like.
I will agree to that.
I won't say vibe, but type. And there's definitely moments where like when the chorus in Atonement hits, you're just like, okay, yeah. And as I listen to it, I go, oh, this is what Imagine Dragons like genuinely thought they were trying to do. Like this is like that, like those those synthy, very like drum and like bass wave heavy kind of verses, and then like what's supposed to be a big chorus moment. Like Leprous does it right here. Not to say Imagine Dragons doesn't, but I feel like what Imagine Dragons has tried to do in the past with like really getting that not variety, but that like consistent difference in tone, shape, the way the choruses and the way the verses are. Leprous does it really well here because it's just so out of left field.
The thing that Leprous does really well is that most of the song will be stupidly complicated and very difficult to follow as a listener.
Right.
And then they will have a moment, which is usually the chorus, where it becomes simple for just a little bit. And that provides a lot of contrast.
May I add I think this is a good moment to talk about some of my theories with the music video as well, because
Yeah.
it touches on the point that you've just made. Looking at the music video. Now, one of the things, first off, one of the things I really, really genuinely enjoyed about this, I think we've seen a lot of a lot of bands have a lot of songs where like the music video gets very produced and very complicated very quickly, like particle effects and things of that particular nature.
Mhm.
This, however, to me, really spoke to me in a way because it was done with very minimal, if any, at all practical any type of special effects, because a lot of it was very interesting light trickery that was pervasive throughout the entire song, like was blinking lights in a specific way or patterns, or that particular part of the song where they had like lightsabers and like these light bars. It was done in such a specifically manicured way to deliver part of the complexity of the song. I would look at the song as as serves as a clue for me that the overall composition of the song is one of the ones where you have to step back and look at the broad picture of the song, because there are moments of it where definitely like, why the fuck are we listening to this? This is so bananas. Like, it's such a bizarre song. But then when you look and step back and like look at it, like it's like you said, Manuel, they know exactly what they're doing. Like, they know precisely what they're trying to do. And for me, the music video, it's so many jumpy, like quick, rapid transitions to different like visuals and different like simulations or whatever you would like to call it. And it's so delicate. It's just like the Stravinsky method. It's like, you're going to have a bad time until I'm done with you. Then you're going to see what I did. And then you're going to have enjoyed the ride, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. No, they've done some really good music videos in the past. There was the one for what was that song? Below,
Okay.
where it's basically just Einar singing while like walking around a door. Um, and that was like one of the best pop songs I've ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
They do interest, like it's not like you were saying, it's not typically your standard like highly produced metal band music video. They do really interesting things with lighting and with like someone clearly put thought into a lot of their music videos.
Mm.
I would argue that the music video is almost a Rosetta Stone to the song, is my
Oh,
interpretation of it.
Well,
okay.
Because if you're looking at it while you're listening, a lot of them things tie together so much more clearly. Like if you were just listening to it as it was, I would argue the visual lends itself so very well and importantly to your experience with this that like it's almost going to be completely different. Now, I could obviously be wrong, but that's the way I interpreted it.
interesting.
Quite.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't always like think into the way a video is directed and the way a video is done. But it's always fun hearing you like discuss this stuff, Brendan, because it really starts to make me think. And then like now I gotta go like, re-listen to it and rewatch it. Be like, oh.
I would say that's my role in the show, really. It's like I'm here because you look at it very compositionally, the both of you, and I'm kind of the outside perspective in things.
Yeah, well, you're also you have a lot more experience with visual art than either
Yeah.
of us do.
Fair. I'll give you that.
So it's always interesting to hear your take on a music video.
I do like a good music video.
You do.
But
And
Yusuf,
Hi.
or sorry, go on.
no. Go
Brendan.
ahead.
Oh, I
It was
was
just
going to ask if there was anything in the song that really popped out to you, because
What is that? Oh, I gotta just refresh something here. It's okay, yeah. So it's I guess you could call it the last verse into the last chorus. It's like around the 3 minute mark, 3 10 minute mark, like around there. Um, and it there's this little guitar lick that comes in, and I'm just every time I listen to it, I'm like, there's so much going on, but so little going on, and I don't know how to describe that properly, other than like, because all it is like there's the synth, there's the drums, there's the synth bass, there's the vocals, and then this little guitar bit comes in, and you're just like, does that fit? Like the thing I really enjoy about this song, like it's every moment is a puzzle piece or a puzzle, right? And it's just different pieces you're constantly slotting in, and you're like, this works here, and you're like, where the hell did that come from? There's that, and there's also a moment, I believe, where is it? Yeah, I don't know what it is about the very last chorus of the song, like towards the ending of it, where it's the same. Let's use the word, not velocity.
Cadence, maybe?
Same cadence, same impact as the previous courses, but there's something so brava about it. Like almost like showtime, like not showtimey in the way that it's like this grandiose ending. And I think part of that has to do with the video and the way that it's shot and the way that the choreo is. It feels like this, like, yes, we are getting to the end. Like this is the end.
That is another thing that Leprous is very good at, is like consistently raising the stakes in a very controlled manner. There's a song on the second to last album, I think, on Pitfalls, where they basically decided to see if they could write a song that had a climax at the end and just did nothing but build up to that climax for 5 minutes at a time. And they managed it, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
But they're very good at having that moment. It's like, we've arrived now. Could I call what?
Could you call it minimalist?
Some things they do have, that song in particular, I don't remember what it's called, but that song in particular does have a lot of minimalism to it. What was that song? Distant Bells.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, anyone at home who's trying to get better or learn to write music, learning to just squeeze as much as possible out of your ideas and build them slowly and sort of manage the way your listener is interacting with your music is a very, very important skill.
Okay.
You don't want to tip your hand right away, usually.
No.
I would say that it's like anything else. You're not necessarily sending out a song, you're sending out an experience that you're packaging into your music.
Well, that's what music is. I, as a writer, get to manipulate the experience of my listener. It's different for every listener, but I have an idea of what it's gonna do if I do this thing or that thing, or maybe I went too hard too fast and I don't want them to like lose interest, whatever it is.
Yeah. I do want to say on a note of that, like related and somehow, I just saw a little thing that said composing is reacting, not thinking.
We've done a lot of reacting to this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah. I don't know. Just the way we were talking about it, I'm like,
I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, this is definitely one of those songs where I'm just like, cool. Like you get to the end of it and you're like, okay, nice. Like it's fun. It's fun. There's some moments of like it trips you out, but by the end, afterwards, like you're just sort of you're rolling with it, you know.
Well, they get to that big moment, and you're like, oh, I understand now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
It's definitely a song that leads you on a journey to like discover what they were trying to get you to at the end of it. Like this isn't to listen halfway and then like come back to it. You really need a beginning to end experience with this, or it's just not going to work the same.
100%. 100%. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about with Atonement?
I think I'm good.
Are we good? I think we're good.
Are we good?
Yeah, I think we have.
I think we're good. Go check out Atonement, the new single from Leprous. Available now on all streaming platforms and Spotify and YouTube and whatever. You know where to find it. We are not partnered with Leprous in any way, but we just want to give them a shout out. And hey, Leprous, what's up? As usual. This has
Like,
been
if
the
they want to
Airborne
come
Sealife
talk to
podcast.
us, they can.
Yeah.
Oh, my
This has
bad.
been the Airborne Sealife.
That's all, folks.
I'm cutting some part of that out in editing, and you're
No.
not.
No. You're leaving all of it in, and you're just going to cut to various pictures of Bugs Bunny as that happens.
Ah.
That
Anyway.
could be a blooper reel. Go on,
I think
Yusuf.
that might get us in trouble. Anyway, this has been the Airborne Sealife podcast. For all of your metal, fun, and orca needs, we don't talk about orcas on this podcast. We should.
But we
should
do
talk
talk
more
about walruses.
We do talk about walruses. Go support our charity, Corpse Paint for Walruses. It's not real. Please don't Google it.
But you can find it on our Instagram.
You can find it on our Instagram. You can probably find it on our TikTok whenever I get up to updating the TikTok. You can find us on YouTube. Usual, we're here. And until then, you know what's cool? There's new music coming out in the next little while from other bands that we're definitely very excited to talk about. So tune in for that.
Yeah.
That will be fun.
Do it.
Will be. All right. Keep flying. Good.
So long.
Bye. Ah.